NFL wide
Nipple.
receiver, way too early, top 10 rankings. It's
Nipple
time.
word.
This is episode 2 in our season of ranking positions in the NFL 1 through 10 for next season.
Yes.
Trying to project out performance, who's the best player, kind of mixing stats and how good they are just inherently, kind of regardless of situation. We just wrapped up quarterbacks. If you're interested in that,
Go check it out.
After you watch this great video, go ahead and check that out. We had a lot of debate, a lot of changes for where we had Patrick Mahomes on our rankings.
Oh, yeah.
It got into kind of a heated debate.
Is he top 10?
I want to start with Mario. Wide receivers going into next year. You're an LSU guy, so I have
am
a
LSU.
feeling I know where this list goes.
Is it bang, 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 bang?
It could be. I was tempted. I was
Okay,
tempted.
good. I
Let's
like
hear
that.
the one.
I kept it honest. Number one, though, no surprise. He was wide receiver 1 last year. I got Jamar Chase.
Yep.
Not much to say. Just him and Joe Burrow connection. We've seen it
tough
for
to beat.
years. It's beautiful to
You got that
watch.
contract now, too.
He did get that money now. Number 2, in my opinion, I think the best overall receiver, Justin Jefferson. I know that he doesn't have Sam Darnold this year, but I think this guy's so good it doesn't really matter who's throwing him the ball. Number 3, a guy who was wide receiver 1 2 years ago, didn't have his quarterback last year and was still a top 10 receiver.
Crazy.
Yeah. CeeDee Lamb.
CD.
I think he's the 3rd best receiver in all of the NFL, and I just had to put him top 3 again. I think Dak, Tyler's mentioned this before, he has like a weird pattern in his career where
It's the easiest thing to bet on in
is
the
where
world.
he has a bad season, then a good season, then a bad season, then a good
Or
season.
an injured season.
And, or he's like injured.
bad could be the injured,
Yeah,
yeah.
bad or injured.
Yeah.
So next
And
year,
last year he
legacy.
was injured, so
Yeah,
this
after
year.
a good season 2 years ago.
Exactly. So everyone knows
we predicted that.
what's coming this year. So CD at 3. Number 4, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Sun God.
Yeah, he was wide receiver 3 last year. Listen, I mean, he just gets thrown the ball
So
every play.
much.
I mean, just,
Slot God.
the slot god. Okay, slant boy.
Michael Thomas
reincarnated.
2.0.
Reincarnated. No, but he's actually insanely talented as well. Really good after the catch. The way this Lions offense is, they throw the ball a million times, and he's the focal point of their passing attack. So no slowing down, in my opinion, for him. Number 5, I got my boy in New York, Malik Neighbors.
Wow.
Now I got Malik Neighbors at 5.
Like it.
He was wide receiver 7 last year. From a statistical standpoint, this dude, I mean, he was wide receiver 7 and left so much on the field, in my opinion. Obviously, like, he had a ton of targets, but a lot of targets weren't really catchable. I think if he just gets a slightly better improvement at the quarterback
Hopefully.
position,
We're hoping.
we're hoping. I mean,
And we can talk about this after we go through the list, but that's my concern. Is Russ is the starter?
oh, I'm not concerned at all. I think that's an upgrade from Daniel Jones.
Dang dimes to you.
Russ
Ryan and I
has-
watched Russ throw
Listen,
the ball.
I don't know. You watch Russ throw the ball, and it would be like the most bipolar quarterback
doesn't
you've ever
throw it.
seen. He like doesn't throw the ball.
I mean, if Malik
and then
the
all of a
deep
sudden,
ball is great.
that's what I'm saying. Like fourth quarter Russ, you can't.
Over the shoulder, 40-yard dime.
I mean, I
I've
saw
seen
him
enough
just.
of fourth quarter Russ.
No, fourth quarter.
He's
Russ,
trash,
dude,
I know.
I saw enough Steeler games where this dude would somehow just turn back the clock 10 years and win a bunch of games for the Steelers. They had no business winning.
Classic.
Off just deep throws, and Russ has a good deep ball. Malik can run. Also, they have a young rookie too in Jackson Dart, who if he comes on to
Week 6.
week 6, week 7, he's a total gunslinger.
Week 4.
But Malik, he's that guy where you just give him the ball and he'll do the rest. Number 6, got AJ Brown.
Wow.
I like that.
From a physical standpoint, he might be like up there with DK Metcalf, is just physically just most imposing and
Yeah.
talented, just from like the physicality and speed combined. Obviously, with Jalen Hurts throwing the ball, it's never going to be high volume, but he always is near the top of the league in average yards per catch, based on like how much he's catching, and he's always going to put up yards, touchdowns. He's their touchdown threat, the guy they look for in the end zone if they're not within 2 yards to tush push it.
Yeah.
So I just think when he plays a full season, last year he missed 4 games
Yep.
Yeah.
and was wide receiver
17 yards.
17 in yards, but he was only, a couple hundred back. I think if he plays 4 games,
Yep.
he probably is right
Top
there in the
5,
top
yeah.
10.
Yep.
Right after him, I got my boy Jane Daniels, number 1 receiver.
Terry.
I got Scary Terry. I think he has a lot of room for improvement as well. Only posted like 1,100 yards last year, something like
But
that.
the second in the league in touchdowns.
1096. I think the yards can go up a ton. I think the receptions can go up a ton. Touchdowns was pretty insane, but 13. Yeah. I mean, I think he can do around the same. I think he can get double-digit touchdowns again.
Well, if they score like they did last year, he'll be getting a lot of that.
Yeah. So I think 7's a perfect spot for him. I don't think he's ever going to be like that 1 or 2, 3, but I think he's always going to be top 10.
I think Debo helps too.
Yeah. Number 8, I have Brian Thomas Jr., the
Nice.
other LSU receiver.
It's lower than I thought.
I wanted to put him higher, but I think Travis Hunter is going to affect his production a little bit. Just because they drafted him so high, they have to give Travis targets and give him the ball and opportunity. So I think it's just going to be an adjustment the first couple weeks, and then I think they get rolling. Regardless, Brian Thomas Jr., we saw what he did his rookie year. Dude's unbelievable. Top end speed. He was up there as well with yards per reception, near the top of the league.
Yeah, his stats were belligerent with only 133 targets.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's insane.
Number 9, I have the number 1 option for the Atlanta Falcons. I have Drake London. I think Penix is going to sling the ball. He actually has a really good deep ball. Really powerful arm, really accurate. I think they're going to throw the ball a lot more than what Kirk did. I mean, Kirk did a lot of short passes, a lot of slants. I think you can really unlock London's full potential with Michael Penix, which I hate to say because of the Falcons, and I wish nothing good for them.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he was wide receiver 5. I think he still maintains a top 10 wide receiver season. And then number 10, similar to my quarterbacks, I have another person who I want to shout out who potentially could be top 10. Probably wouldn't rank him the 10th best, but he's right there. I think, hot take, Garrett Wilson has a really good season with Justin Fields.
I love
Wow.
that.
So,
Did you have Puka in that list?
do not have Puka.
Wow.
I probably would have put Devontae and Puka back to back. I would have Devontae this year slightly over Puka. I'd have Devontae at 10, Puka at 11. Wilson for me is probably like number 12, but I just wanted to give him a shout out.
We can bookmark that for after the rankings list.
He was 14.
Mike, let's go next.
All right, definitely not anywhere close to your list in any way, shape, or form, and probably some hot takes in here. Number 1, I think Mario actually said it very well. Justin Jefferson is just, in my opinion, the most elite wide receiver that we have in the league. I think one of my favorite terms for a wide receiver is quarterback proof, and I think literally anybody who is holding the ball will see Justin Jefferson be open and just go, hey, catch the ball, and then he'll catch the ball, and he does amazing things. I think he's an unbelievable talent. Number 2, this is where we start getting real
right at number 2.
Real fiery. I think big bounce back year projection. Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill has
Not a
some,
2, but I like that.
No, I mean, he has some of the
Has
most
a big bounce
unreal like physical abilities or like potential, and obviously him not having a quarterback destroys everything, and we saw that last year. He went
And the surgery.
yeah. And the surgery didn't help either. But I think this year he can kind of come back. He'll have a quarterback. I hope he actually has a steady quarterback.
Quinn Ewers.
Well, let's hope it's Tua and then Quinn next year. But I think, if Tua can stay healthy, he really utilizes Tyreek Hill to his full potential. And it's really fun watching him on that team when it does happen. So I have Tyreek too. As long as everyone can stay healthy, I think he can end really high. Number 3, Jamar Chase. Unreal. Him and Joe Burrow have a godsended connection, and he's his favorite target for a reason. Number 4, again, getting a little fiery, kind of biased, Puka Nacua.
I don't think that's
My reason for it is the Rams, I think, offensively are going to look so much stronger this year for 2 reasons. Number 1, the first 3 weeks, our entire offensive line was obliterated. And, we were using pretty much 1 starter and then 4 rotational pieces just bouncing back and forth, trying to find something that fits. That then led to Matthew Stafford being under so much duress, so much pressure, not being able to get good looks at receivers. Also, speaking of receivers, adding Devontae Adams, I think, opens up the field in such a tremendous way. But Puka is still our number 1 guy. I think he's young enough. He has the talent to just kind of carry this team passing-wise. So I have Puka at 4. Number 5, Super Bowl winner, A.J. Brown. He is a physical threat everywhere he goes. He's one of those guys where you could throw it up, 3 feet above a receiver to where nobody else is catching it, and he'll just go up and kind of grab that thing. Grab that thing, twist it. Number 6 is going to be Amon Ra. Amon Ra is on an offense in a situation where everyone gets fed, everyone eats, and Amon Ra is kind of he's the alpha wolf in that pack. You know,
wolf.
He eats first. He eats the liver. He eats the heart. He eats the liver. He eats the heart. He'll go for the kidney occasionally.
Yeah. I went right over it.
Lion. Because
Mike normally loves the.
No, that was good wordplay. I missed it because
Yeah, it was an
English.
unusual brick by you.
English is tough.
Yeah.
Number 7.
Bing bong.
Bing bong, exactly. Number 7, if you watch the quarterback ranking, you know how highly I project this guy to do. Nico Collins, I think CJ Stroud is going to have a very, very good year, and his favorite target is Nico Collins. I think he is going to, feel all the production in that. Number 8, I really, similar to how Mario didn't like putting, who's your Atlanta guy? Sorry, Drake London on his list. I have to put CeeDee Lamb. He's unreal in abilities, but I hate everyone on the Cowboys.
I thought you were going to go 10 without him.
I hate everyone on the Cowboys, and honestly, I hope he does terribly, but I don't think he will, so I have him at 8.
You're praying on his downfall.
Yes, 100%. I pray on his downfall.
Good to hear.
Number 9, Scary Terry. Been a fan of Scary Terry for a couple of years now, thanks to the influence of Ryan and cameraman Kev, big Ohio State boys, but Terry McLaurin has finally been put into a situation with a good quarterback where he could actually produce. And we saw it last year for the first little stint of it. I think that light is only going to get brighter. So, fingers crossed for him. And then number 10, Brian Thomas. I think Brian Thomas, rookie year, he kind of showed up. Trevor Lawrence, when he stays healthy, is actually a very good quarterback. I think he, Ryan and I will get into this argument.
Doing good work.
I think he's been healthy for a while.
I'm thinking the right way.
No, I think he deserves the money that he's been paid, and
It's the best contract in the NFL. Look at Brock Purdy's. We can talk about that now.
Especially if we look future, it's going to be so worth every penny. I think Brian Thomas is going to be a big factor in why it's so worth it.
Oh yeah, I mean, we can have this conversation later on, but that Trevor Lawrence contract episode
we've already had that.
We did last season is going to age like 5.
That's my worth
He's
of
going to be burning money when he's not on the team in 2
4
years.
years. In 4 years,
How do we pay someone $200?
we're going to be able to look back at that and say, "Wow, Tyler." Just like
Purdy
everyone
took his
said,
team to a Super Bowl.
Just
and
like everyone
did
said, you are a genius. Everyone's going to say this.
Generational worth it winner.
All right, here's my list. Wide receiver 1, easy. Should be no contest. It's Jamar Chase. Should be wide receiver 1. It should be like Brock Bowers for tight ends. You can hard stamp that in bold lettering. He won the Triple Crown last year. He's the best receiver in football. Nothing's going to change. He got paid. T came back. Joe Burrow's still there last I checked. So, 1, stamp that in, bold lettering. That doesn't move. Number 2 is CeeDee Lamb, and it pains me to say this, but it's exactly what we were talking about with Dak Prescott. Dak's going to be on this year. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
Last year we were spot on the offseason. We said he's going to have a bad year. Obviously, it's Dak. He does it. But with Dak healthy, with CD coming back, he's got a contract in the running for the best wide receiver in the NFL, for being honest. One of the best route runners, best hands. He's going to go crazy. I could see an argument why people would project him for 1. I just can't rationalize doing it myself above Jamar Chase. Number 3 is Brian Thomas Jr. I think he stays exactly where he was last year. He was wide receiver 3 last year. They're in the NFL in receiving yards. With Trevor being out half the season, his target share did not. He was better in the games where Trevor was there. Adds Liam Cohen as head coach, healthy Trevor Lawrence now, and adds Travis Hunter. I think it helps him. I think eyes go off of him. First year was a rookie, kind of took people by surprise. Also, no one really game planned for the Jaguars. They weren't winning any games. This year, I think that's going to be different. Liam Cohen is a very, very good offensive coordinator. You saw the way he was able to utilize all the receivers on his team and put production out there for the Buccaneers. That's going to be Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas, I think, is clearly the wide receiver 1. Travis can play both sides of the ball. I think there's a really good chance he ends wide receiver 1 for fantasy purposes. This isn't a fantasy ranking, but I'm obsessed with Brian Thomas Jr. I think he was out of this world last year, wide receiver 3. I think he stays right there. There's a chance he ends wide receiver 1. Number 4 is Puka Nacua, and I'm shocked he wasn't on your list at all, Mario. I'm going to have to ask about that after. But I mean, he's being drafted as wide receiver 3 or 4 in a lot of fantasy rankings. I can see an argument for him at 2 if you're talking strictly production for next season. He's an absolute menace. Mike hit everything on the head with the Rams. I don't need to repeat it. But Puka Nacua, he has the same upside, in my opinion, as CeeDee Lamb does. to where they can just go out and put up 1,600 receiving yards and like 14 touchdowns. We've seen Rams receivers do it. I think Devontae Adams is very obviously the wide receiver 2 on this team. The way that McVay likes to feature receivers, it's the Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua type receivers in the 1 role and the bigger receivers in the 2. So, yeah, I love Puka at 4. This is a draft rankings list. I might even have him a little higher. Number 5 is Justin Jefferson. He's the second best wide receiver in the league. But when we're talking about for next season, if Sam Darnold was still there, I'd have him at wide receiver 2. He did it last year. He's shown to be kind of quarterback proof, but Sam Darnold did play well. I think J.J. McCarthy is awful. This is more of an indictment on J.J. McCarthy than it is on Justin Jefferson. I've kind of got over my hate for Justin Jefferson after screwing me in fantasy. He's really, really good, but I think J.J. McCarthy is legitimately bad.
Yeah.
Like he'll be one of the worst 6 quarterbacks in the NFL. And if he plays one of the worst 6 quarterbacks, we've never seen Justin Jefferson with worst 6 quarterback production.
Yeah.
Maybe he makes all his quarterbacks good, so maybe J.J. McCarthy turns into a beast. But I think that's going to happen with JJ, so I'd be very interested to see what happens with this JJ. I think I have him at 5, which is the most fluid ranking. I could see a world he ends out of the top 10 for production next year pretty easily. 6, Amon-Ra. I think it's pretty much where everyone else had him on their list, around there. Yeah. Which,
I had him at 4.
4 or 5, yeah. He pretty routinely finishes around 5, top 5 in production, so I love him at the 6th spot. I could totally see 4 or 5 as well. 7's Drake London. Maybe a little low for him. If we're talking about the stats he's going to put up next year. Finished 4th last season in yards. Michael Penix, I think, is a great addition. I'm totally with Mario on this. Drake London was an extremely highly drafted wide receiver, and people pretty quickly wrote him off after the Falcons just were abysmal. And they now have what looks like it's going to be a top 3 running back, arguably top 5 receiver, and a young quarterback coming into a spot. This offense could do some things. I wouldn't sleep on Drake London. 8, Nico Collins. Same reason Mike said. CJ Stroud, wide receiver 1. That's it. Whoever's the wide receiver 1 for CJ Stroud is automatically top 10. You could probably put him for fantasy production, maybe 1. He was last year until he got hurt. So we'll see what happens. I have him at 8. 9's Malik Neighbors. If Jameis is quarterback, I want this on the record, he's my wide receiver 1 immediately. If Jameis is quarterback and only Jameis, Malik Neighbors is 1. If it's anyone else,
Jameis unlocks Malik.
Dude, Jameis Winston is god for fantasy wide receivers or any production for wide receivers. It looks like it's going to be Russ. If it's locked in Russ and they're saying they're going to stick with him, I'm moving Malik outside my top 15. It's not going to happen. I watched it last year with the Steelers. They're not going to get production. You're not going to see the numbers you saw anywhere close to him. But the quarterback situation is extremely fluid, so I think 9's a safe spot. And 10, someone no one's named, I don't think, is Lad McConkey. Have you named him? No, I don't think anyone named him. Finished wide receiver 9 last year in terms of receiving yards in his rookie season. I think second year's a leap forward. They added Trey Harris to take some pressure off of Lad. He's literally the only player who was able to get positive yards catching the ball last year for Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert also continues to be a top 10-ish quarterback. I think I have him at like 12, but I like Harbaugh. I think Harbaugh likes Lad. They got Trey Harris to complement him perfectly. Top 5 route runner in the league already. I like the 10 spot for Lad.
Sharp. All right, my top 10. Number 1, never going to get off this, Justin Jefferson. I think in situations, obviously Jamar is some people's best quarterback in the league. If Justin had that, it'd be the same way. I'm basing this just wide receiver talent. If they're on certain teams, just a blank slate. I'd have Justin Jefferson.
So nothing to do with production for next year.
Well, production also. I mean, he's finished.
No, I'm saying
one
for next season.
Yeah, I also think he could just finish number 1 because he's him. Number 2, Jamar Chase. I think there's not a hugely, like the top 3 in my opinion are so above everyone else personally. So Jamar Chase on my 2, nothing to say. You guys say that. Then CeeDee Lamb. Those 3 I think are so far above, talent-wise, production-wise, whatever you want to call it. They've all been like top 5 around that whenever they're healthy and playing a full season. Number 4, I have Amon-Ra. As much as I don't think he's that like talented.
Yeah,
say
I'm on the same.
He will put up every stat known to man, and I can't argue with stats. And they're winning, so win-win, and it's on his back. AJ Brown, I have at 5. Nothing to say. You guys said it. He's just gifted. Number 6, I have Tyreek. I think if he's healthy and plays a year, he's one of the most unguardable weapons we've seen in football history. Yep. So Tyreek, I think, is going to have a big year. I think, having a healthy quarterback is huge. If Tyreek has anyone, he'll be fine. Number 7, I have Nico. Like Tyler said, he was number 1 throughout the entire year until he got hurt. So he's going to have a huge year. Number 8, I have Puka. You guys already covered it. Rams. Matthew Stafford's leading wide receiver. Will always do well. Devontae will help. Number 9, I have Terry. if I'm just banking on Jane Daniels being the same as he was last year, same production. Maybe he gets more yards. Touchdowns, not a problem. And my last one, Malik Neighbors. Tough situation. I think he definitely regresses a little bit, but I like him for the future. And then honorable mention, hot take. Besides my Ohio State boys, all of them I think will do good, like JSN, Garrett Wilson, Marvin. Hot take, if he comes back and is healthy, Rashee Rice will be a top 5 wide receiver next year.
Whoa.
Top 5.
I don't mind that.
First
Whoa,
3 weeks,
I
he was
mind.
averaging 100 yards a game, and then he got hurt.
Wow. All right. Well, there's definitely some things we can dive into there.
Yeah.
I guess it was not as hot of a take about Puka because we both had him on our list. You had him towards the end. You were the only one who didn't have him. I guess we
Yeah.
could start there and kind of move down.
Yeah,
He's
there
wide
was
receiver
a-
4 on fantasy.
You guys all
rankings.
had Puka. You guys all had Nico. 2 of you had Tyreek.
Start
So I'll
with Puka.
address-
I'm going to hit on
I'll address
Tyreek.
all the people I left.
All right.
out.
All right,
I'll
address
hit them
all.
all. Okay.
Open letter.
Yeah. So when it comes to Puka Nacua, listen, there's very easily a world where he's a top 10 receiver in production, right?
Yeah.
Without a question. The way I look at it is when he came to the Rams 2 years ago, he was on the field with his partner Cooper Kupp. Same thing as last year. I thought Puka was better than Cooper Kupp, which is why he was treated as the wide receiver 1. My position is very simple. I think Devontae Adams is simply better than Puka Nacua. So he will be
The wide receiver 1.
the wide receiver
What
1.
happened to Garrett Wilson, pretty much?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw Devontae Adams. Unfortunately, I had to watch Jets games, which I hated.
It's electric for fantasy.
Well, yeah, he was on my fantasy team. So
Holy
I
shit.
watched him play football, and I was like, wow, this guy. You can argue this guy is still a top 5 receiver just off ability. Like he just gets open. He does the same route, but it's just unguardable.
wiggle.
He just like bounces and then wiggles, and he's open separation 5 yards. Like he's so talented. Top 3 as a route runner. He doesn't have the same top end speed as he used to. Hands is still top 3 in the league. I don't care what anyone says. And his intelligence, he knows how to get open. He's going to be a joy with Matthew Stafford.
Was it
in
not
that McVay
fool's
offense.
gold, though? I think a lot of people, this is, in my opinion, a trap because Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams is his best friend. So,
Yeah.
like, when you're like, oh, Garrett Wilson fell off because Devontae got the targets. Yeah, it was Aaron Rodgers. Like, we're talking about Matthew Stafford.
was
Puka
always
last
better.
But
year.
they both got targets. It wasn't like they weren't feeding Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson still finished wide receiver 11, and Devontae Adams finished wide receiver 9. Like it wasn't
Devontae
like
Adams did not finish wide receiver 9.
I was looking at
for, like,
fantasy. I was looking at fantasy.
Obviously for yards, it's like
Or-
12 and 15.
No. Maybe
Adams
it was 14.
18.
No, he wasn't 18.
He was for yards. I'm looking at it right now.
I was.
And
talking
he
about
had
fantasy.
8 touchdowns. I
think he was
could
14.
pull up
I think it was
fantasy.
14.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, there's no way he was top 10.
But he all that came when he joined the Jets. So I get it. Obviously, he was getting targeted or whatever. But I think for sure he gets similar targets on this Rams offense. The Rams
Stafford's smart enough to use him. a
They're-
lot.
and McVay's smart enough to use him too. I don't know. I don't think personally, like, would I be shocked if Puka's a top 10 receiver? No, I wouldn't be shocked, right? But if I had to bet on these other receivers finishing ahead of Puka, I would. At
Wow.
least the number 9. Number 10 was my hot take, Garrett Wilson. If you wanted my actual 10, I probably would have put Nico Collins, but it's close between him and Devontae Adams. The reason why I don't believe in, I'll just touch on the other guys
Well, hold
too,
on.
real quick.
Quickly on Puka.
Yeah.
Last season, he was obviously hurt half the year.
yeah.
But if you did yards per game when he played 11 games.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think he was in the NFL?
I don't know. He's probably high.
He's tied 2 with Justin
Cooper,
Jefferson.
yeah, and Cooper Kupp was terrible last year.
Well, that's-
so I think you're actually adding a receiver that's better than
Having him go from tied 2 to like you could maybe see him top 10. You wouldn't be shocked. Like I don't know. I think Puka's got to be
think
the
he's
most
good.
slept on receiver. Like I felt weird putting him at 4 even.
No, I mean if
His stats are going to be. I
if
think
he
he's gonna be
shows
top
up and
3.
he's like top 3, then I'm just wrong. It's very simple. I'm like my position's really simple. Like I said, he played with Cooper Kupp last year, who in my opinion wasn't good.
It was terrible.
It was terrible. And even when he was like pretty good 2 years ago, I still thought Puka was,
Puka was
better
better,
than him.
for sure.
I think Devontae Adams is just a better receiver. So I don't see how Puka. I mean, maybe there's a world where he gets more touchdowns, and maybe like from a fantasy perspective, he might finish ahead. But I think they're both going to be similar. I think they're both around that 10 spot. As far as Nico Collins, like I said, I probably would have put him 10. He's another guy where if he finishes top 5, I'm not surprised. I actually do think, though, this Houston Texans team is going to have a different looking offense with them drafting 2 receivers. that told me that they're moving on. Obviously, like not completely off Tank Dell, but they know like, hey, this is a pretty bad
not
injury.
playing next year.
He's not playing, and for the future, his role is probably a little bit questionable as well, depending on how these rookies come in and step in. For me, this is just looking like let's give CJ as many targets as possible, and I think they're going to spread the ball around quite a bit. So I wouldn't be shocked if these rookies come in and do pretty well from a rookie standpoint. Maybe like the first Jaden Higgins and who was the other guy?
Jalen Noel.
Noel.
Noel was the one drafted after Higgins, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe Noel comes in, goes for like 700. Higgins goes for like 900. You know what I mean? And then Collins maybe like 1,000, 1,100. Like I think they both could like all three of them could be very productive in this offense, which is why I had Collins lower. If it's the same as the past couple years where it's just Collins 12 receptions a game, then he's going to be top
Yeah, it's
five without a
insane.
doubt. And then Tyreek Hill, another guy who in this offense obviously could be explosive and whatever, you know, but the quarterback scares me just to his health. And then also I think Tyreek peaked 2 years ago when he went for 1,700 yards. And I said last year, when he went for 1,700 yards, towards the end of the season, he had a little bit of injuries that never took him out of games, but he'd like fourth
He'd
quarters,
stop,
he'd
yeah.
come out for like a series or two with
Yeah.
his calf, and those soft tissue injuries just pile up. There's a reason why sprinters don't really last past 30. The way he plays football is like a sprinter, and we saw last year those things piled up even more, and now that kept him out of games. I just think we've seen the best out of Tyreek Hill. I don't think we're ever going to see that again. So
That makes sense.
those were my reasons for keeping them out of the top 10. And then, you know, realistically, Nico's probably 10, but Garrett Wilson, I just think is a guy everyone's overlooking and
Yeah.
probably not expecting to be a top 10 receiver. And I'm just saying like, hey, this guy has potential. Like
That connection.
he might be top 10 because I actually think Fields and that offense will look a lot better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that makes sense. And so one thing I quickly wanted to touch on, we don't have to talk a lot about this because I think we all generally accept Justin Jefferson as one of the best, if not the best receiver in the NFL. But obviously, next year's production has something to do with it,
Yeah.
with how we talked about Tyreek Hill. Because Tyreek Hill, for years, was considered a top 3
Yeah.
receiver in the NFL. He's nowhere to be found in anyone's top 5, top 7.
He's my 6.
Anyway,
He's
6.
my 2.
He's your 2? Okay,
Yeah.
well, definitely.
Well, again, I'm banking 100% off of perfect health,
But-
which I guess isn't super realistic.
It's like
but
he said he's going to be back for mini camp, is what his camp says after the surgery, not too long ago. But in a lot of preseason rankings have him in the like 14 to 16 range, and so I wanted to kind of throw it out there about Justin Jefferson because we're talking about production. Then we can hit on Tyreek. Do you guys think where do you think Justin Jefferson statistically ends next season? Just like if you had a guess, and then we can move on from that
3.
because you think 3?
Third in yards. I think he's been top 3 in yards for
Totally.
every year.
1,200
Yes.
yards.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna guess that he's top 3. Touchdowns, I think, should get hurt. But like I think Sam Darnold, like he showed like the last 5 or 6 games wasn't that great. I know the beginning he was good.
Yeah,
But I think-
statistically, Darnold was out of this world.
What do you mean?
Sam Darnold last season.
I was for the first like 10 games.
I'm saying
And
for
he
like he finished the year, I think QB3.
looked terrible. Well, yeah, I'm
Or
saying,
QB4 or
but
something.
it looked terrible towards the
is
end
that
of the
like
year.
rating or?
No, sorry, 5. QB5 for passing yards.
Yeah, I think that was front heavy. I think Jefferson is like Michael said, QB proof. It doesn't matter. McCarthy could throw up the ball to anyone. He's
right.
going to come down with
So you
it.
have him 3, or did you put him?
I had him 1.
So for production next year, you think he's gonna be wide receiver 1?
Oh, no, sorry. I think, probably like, 3 to 5, something like that. But again, similar to what Ryan said, I think JJ could just throw him the ball and he'll make a play because he's that good.
So the 1 ranking is just off of like if he was
He's
on
the
any
best.
team,
Yeah.
Yeah,
like just a blank slate team,
Correct.
not off of next year.
correct.
And then
Pure
what-
like ability and like
Okay.
what does he have? Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I'd probably put him top 5. Like I'd probably project him to go for around 1,200 yards. I don't think he's gonna have one of his best seasons, but maybe McCarthy surprises everyone. I just think that's like around his floor. Is around 1,200. So wherever that ends up, maybe like it's a good season for receivers and that's like 7. But I'm just gonna say top 5.
Okay.
I just like the whole idea of like I watch all these rookies like with Daniel Jones, Mac Jones put up insane stats. You're telling me JJ McCarthy can't be comped to those quarterbacks? They can't throw to the. To
I mean,
the
I guess
wide
we'll find
receiver.
out. Yeah.
I'm saying like I feel like it's so
That's
easy.
kind of what I'm saying.
It's so easy. Like if Brian Thomas could do it for the last, like average 100 yards a game with Mac Jones, Malik Neighbors averaged one of the best thing ever with whatever was thrown.
with only
to him.
15 games.
I'm
too.
saying so. Like why can't JJ McCarthy be as good as the 25th best quarterbacks in the league? Backups, I think it's possible. So I don't
yeah, no,
And I think
definitely
also
could
he's
be-
young enough to where he can like carry that weight
Also, Kevin
load.
O'Connell knows what he's doing.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I could be bit by this for sure. I just.
where'd you put him?
I'm at 5 as it's a completely variable spot where I
But
felt like
that's
putting
not
him
that
at.
bad though.
Well, no, I don't think he'll finish.
But he said he
5.
doesn't finish top 10.
I think I had
Oh.
to put him at 5 just because he is a top 5 receiver.
Yeah.
So he's probably the second best receiver in the league. But for production next year,
You don't think he's top
dude,
10?
I think it's scary. I think JJ McCarthy freaking sucks. He's terrible.
I think even if
like
he's
he's so bad.
Really?
even if he's not top 10, I still think he's like top 15. Like if it's like worst.
Yeah,
case
yeah. No,
scenario.
I think he can totally be around
I'd be
there.
blown away if he's not top 15. Like literally, I don't care who's throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Like it literally could be Mac Jones, whatever.
Yeah.
Anthony
Like
Richardson.
I think a good comp in a world is like Cortland Sutton-ish, where Bo Nix was a good quarterback
I mean,
and Bo Nix threw a bunch of yards, right?
Yeah.
And he was the wide receiver 1 on that team. Obviously, talent, they're not even comparable. But like statistically, Cortland Sutton was wide receiver 16 last year, 1,081 yards, 8 touchdowns. Like, and that was with Bo Nix, who was producing.
Yeah.
So I get they had like a couple other options, but I don't know. Unless
didn't
JJ,
Judy finish top 5 last year too?
Judy, yeah, I mean,
That's what I think. I don't like it. Like,
Off like a 6-week run.
no,
too.
I don't like. It's like if JJ McCarthy is that bad, he won't be playing, and then the backup will throw to Jefferson. In my opinion, I think it
was
won't matter.
top 5 in yards. I mean, sorry, top 6 in yards. He had only 4 touchdowns.
Oh yeah. Oh, like I said, touchdowns. I agree, might be a little hindering, but yards should.
But
be
yeah,
fine.
going to Tyreek, Mike, you had him at 2. I know you hinted on him being fully healthy.
And his quarterback being healthy.
I think it's
Key,
Tua.
key part of that is his quarterback. If he can have
both.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
obviously.
of course both. But it's like I feel like before Tua had his whole, brain blow up.
Call it as you will.
Yeah, call it as you will. I feel like we saw that Dolphins offense be super electric, and that includes with Mostert and A-Chain running the ball, having like an unbelievable rushing attack, and being able to just kind of chuck it up with Tua. I think we saw stints of Tyreek being one of the top receivers in the league during that time. Granted, it was a short
He
window.
was one. He almost pretty much won. He led the league in receiving yards and went second with like 1,800. So
And then Tua died. And so, I think if Tua can stay alive and if Tyreek's
Big
calves
if.
can
I
stay
agree.
muscular, then, we're chilling. And I think he could really produce like he should.
Yeah, and I know this isn't a fantasy conversation, but when you're talking about potential value in fantasy drafts, I mean, Tyreek Hill,
I mean, you're going to get some value.
wide receiver 14. I mean, you like Devontae Adams, dude. You're going to love him at, like, where are they having him mocked?
20
in some of these?
something.
18 here. Like, there are a lot of players.
snap.
If you think, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of
It's going to be fun.
debate here.
Wide receivers are going to be the best next year.
Yeah, I'm excited to keep talking about him
Red and gold.
as
Yeah,
we
for
go
sure.
forward. One name I'm really shocked wasn't on any of these lists is JSN.
I had him on honorary
He was
mentions.
close.
It was right there.
Well, I'm saying in a top 10 list.
He's
for next
right
year.
there. I think he's like 12. It's tough.
12 makes sense.
Not
I think-
without Gino.
I think-
Oh, just kidding. That's
What?
No,
sorry.
He doesn't have Gino.
Doesn't have
He
Gino.
doesn't have
Yeah,
Gino.
Sam.
He's Sam Darnold. Gino's on the Raiders.
He got traded, right?
Who?
JSN.
Neck yourself.
DK
I
got
think-
traded.
Now you can
DK got
go.
traded.
Yeah, put it
DK.
back. Yeah. DK is gone now.
DK's gone. And
So
JSN's
he's
in.
DK and
he's
one
the
of-
wide
okay.
receiver, and we saw what Sam Darnold can do with a wide receiver 1 in a competent offense now. He was the one that really paid me not
Made
to put him on
Addison
the
look
list.
No, I
too.
wanted to really bad, but I just.
He's your guy, yeah.
It's hard. Like I said, although Ohio State, even Marvin Harrison, I think will be like in the 12 range. I think.
yeah, I don't know.
What did he
about
finish?
that
I jumped off that ship.
What did he
Tyler and
finish in
Mike
yards
immediately, when you say Marvin Harrison, they just both go.
Marvin Harrison was 33rd in yards,
Yeah, and he had his
playing all
worst-
17 games.
His
Yeah,
worst. I think he'll be
yeah.
much better. I'll
I think
happily
he'll
bet
be
with
better
anyone
too.
who
I
wants
think
it.
he'll be
He
better
has,
too.
he has to be better.
Also, the way they use them needs
There's-
to be changed. There were
32
times
wide receiver ones, and he was 33rd.
But like a lot of the guys ahead of him, like Puka's ahead of him. Puka played 11 games,
Yeah.
and he's like way ahead of him. It's like he can't get worse. He can't. Marvin Harrison's. It's not an Ohio State thing, I promise. Like JSN, I'm like all on.
Yeah.
I like JSN. I think he
love
can
Terry.
totally.
I think Marvin
I
will
love Terry. I
surprise.
love Garrett Wilson.
Terry's great. I just don't think
Olave
statistically
when
he'll
he's
put it.
healthy.
Olave's.
He's on a thin
No,
string.
dude, Olave.
Dude, he
is-
gets too many concussions. He's got concussions every year of his
We
career.
can't talk about
He's
Olave.
J.K. Dobbins of the wide receiver.
No, he's Tua. At
We
wide
no, yeah,
can't
you're right. It's
talk
Tua. He
about-
literally just
We
concussed.
cannot talk about Chris Olave.
And he drops the ball.
This is
Like,
a top 10 wide receiver rankings list. Do not. I want to retract that.
I
name.
don't think a Saints
that
comment.
back.
Yeah, I just need
he was
the
talking
Saints
about
player.
Ohio State players.
Yeah.
He wasn't talking about
You
that.
still can't. You still can't mention.
I represent. I like Olave.
Oh, you can throw in Jameson Williams. There you go. Ohio State guy.
Yeah, he's not top.
You always talk about Ohio State guy.
No, he's definitely a Ohio State guy. If you
not-
catch a
he's not-
touchdown in a
not-
college football playoff game for a
Alabama.
team,
He's Alabama guy.
no, I'm saying if you catch a touchdown in a college football playoff game, you're allowed to call them their team. I'll never call Joe Burrow. I'll never say fucking. I don't want to say Quinn Ewers.
Quinn
I'll never
Ewers.
say- No, I don't
Ewers.
want to say.
Yeah,
it.
Quinn
Hard
Ewers.
pass on that one. But who knows? It'll
All
be
right.
fun.
Well, there you have it. Definitely going to talk a lot more wide receivers as we get
Yeah.
way closer to the season. We did the quarterbacks. We did the wide receivers. We're definitely hitting running backs next. If you're new to the channel, drop a subscribe. Let us know what you think in the comments. Whose list was
Drop
the
your
best?
top 10.
Yeah, drop
Do
your
it.
top 10.
Where do you have Chris
Jacoby
Olave?
Myers.
Where is Chris Olave in your top 10? Let us know. Leave a like, and we will see you on the next one.
Darnell Mooney.